Welcome to the EdTech Throwdown. Join us, Eric Geis and Nick Johnson, as we dive into today's best EdTech tools, tips, and practices. We do the research so you can teach your class. Remember to follow us on social media like Instagram, X, or Facebook by looking for the handle @EdTech Throwdown. Now please enjoy the show.
Welcome to the EdTech Throwdown. This is episode 206 called Google Vids versus Canva Video and WeVideo. In this episode, we'll talk about a new-ish Google app called Google Vids and how it stacks up against other popular classroom video creation tools. This is another episode you don't want to miss. Check it out. Welcome back to another episode of the EdTech Throwdown. Today's episode is all about classroom video creation, which, yes, we've talked about before and bring up many times in many different episodes, but specifically this time, it's in response to a newish Google app that was released about a year ago called Google Vids. Depending on what level of Google your school has access to, you may or may not have seen it. Because it's so new, you may not have even noticed that it's there, but mixed in amongst your other Google apps, so we're talking about like Docs, Slides, Sheets, and all those other things, is now Google's very own video editing platform called Google Vids. And we're talking about this today in comparison to other tools. This all started, I should say, because a teacher came to me last week asking about screencasting, right? Because, and this still goes back to a COVID thing, which is during COVID, because, you know, all the stress and the difficult situation that schools were put under, a lot of EdTech tools made their products free. And one of the favorite ones of teachers, at our school at least, was Screencastify, the screencasting extension that just made it so super easy to record your screen and then share those videos out. Teachers loved it. They loved to use it. They loved the unlimited use of it. And then once COVID was over, that stopped.
Back to reality. There goes gravity.
Very good. Love the reference. And now, ever since then, really, teachers have been trying to figure out like what else can do that as well. And when this teacher came to me, I don't know if you've ever had to handle this question before. I didn't have a great answer because my answer for me personally is ScreenPal, another video editing tool, but I pay for that out of pocket, which is not a great answer to give somebody who comes to you looking for like a free replacer for Screencastify. You know, ScreenPal's great. We've been talking about how awesome that is for more than a decade now, probably like, I don't know, 11, 12 years. But like I sometimes forget that I am paying for the pro version of that. And that's going to be one of our themes today for this episode is like, how do you solve this problem of screencasting? And it's possible. Google Vids comes closest to solving that. It's not going to be foolproof. How do you handle the question about Screencastify replacers? Like, does that still come up for you too?
Yeah, I get it all the time actually, and my answer isn't good either.
Yeah,
I have 15 that I give them. So
right.
you struggle to provide them with the free one. I struggle to provide them. I overshare, I think, with this. And I think it also boils down to what functionality do you need after? Is this going to be some glorified project, or is this like an answer to a math question where, you know, you just need to get them the answer and for them to see it?
Right.
I think those are questions that we have to ask, and that's all stuff that we're going to, you know, bring into this episode. So it's a lot more than which one's better. It's which one's better for what functionality, which one's better for your current situation that you're in, and which one is going to get the job done. For me personally, I'm on the same train as you. I use ScreenPal. I love ScreenPal. I love their last name, Screencastify, but ScreenPal does it for me too. Such a phenomenal tool. I use it for everything. I use it for video customization. I use it for the easy project. I use it for the more professional project. I use it for everything. And sometimes I add Smash too. I'll take that tool, I'll record my initial video, I'll upload it into one of the other ones, and then I will make the different transitions and stuff in another video or video application. And that works for me. That's my process. But today, let's dig deep into Google Vids. This is one that I am not as familiar with. I've been playing with it, a lot the last 2 weeks. But other than that, I don't know, like my use of that tool hasn't been there, but why not?
Yeah, so that's a good, and I think maybe let's use that as a segue into what we're going to do here, which is we're going to tell you about this new product, Google Vids, and then we're going to go into our second segment where we will kind of compare it side by side with our favorite tool, as we just explained, ScreenPal versus WeVideo, and just really honestly, whatever else we can think of to try to tackle this issue of what should teachers be using right now. So let's just tick off some of the things about Google Vids in case you're new to it. Like I said, this is about a year old. It first came out around April 2024, maybe November, depending on what level of Google access your school has. But it's, like I said at the top, it's a video editing platform. And when you're in there, if you have a Google account, even like if you just have like a Gmail, right, you can go check it out now because everybody has free access to this. It's going to feel like more like editing a Google slide deck than it is a video. You'll see is, almost that series of slides. They call them scenes. They don't call them slides. The only difference is at the bottom, there's that typical, timeline, that track where you can do your splitting and your overlapping of different video elements, all the typical stuff that goes along with video editing. The free basic version, any Google user has access to it. Like I said, you can pay for some extras, like some advanced AI tools. It's supposed to do AI generating actual like video clips that are AI generated and AI avatars. All of those things are only going to go along with the paid version. Obviously, for most schools, you might not have that. We do not have that. So everything you're hearing from us and our experience with Vids is the free version, which is beyond adequate, I'll just say from the beginning. And what it can do is pretty much any video editing you want it to do. I feel sort of silly making this list because it can do anything, whatever you want it to do. We started talking about Screencastify. Google Vids can do screen recordings with your webcam embedded, without the webcam. It can record just your webcam, and it does a really great job of it. It's not necessarily as easy as Screencastify, I don't think, but it's pretty close, and it's probably the closest free version we've had since then. It will also convert slides directly to video. You can bring in your own photos, your own videos. It's got templates. It's got different layouts, like a landscape layout. If you were putting something on YouTube, it's got a portrait layout. It's got a square layout, which I don't think anyone's using anymore, but it's there. It's got stock audio. And one of the best things about the stock audio is a lot of it pulls from the YouTube audio library, which, if you don't know, is some of the best stock music you can find. At least that's, again, for free, that you don't have to pay for. And then it's got like whatever the typical editing tools are going to be. So you can drag that little playhead back and forth. You can preview your video. You can split clips. The multiple track editing is a little clunkier. So if you're like a real editor and you've got like 6 to 10 different tracks all overlapping, you're going to be frustrated in Google Vids because you can do that, but it's not immediately obvious. I don't know. The big note here is you can pretty much do it all as far as Vids goes.
So functionality is a check on this one, all right? Whether or not the functionality is of quality of the other ones, that's something that we could talk about a little later. But a lot of benefits. Integration works seamlessly with the Google ecosystem. So integrating with Google Drive for easy access to files. If you're a Google school, this will be very familiar to your students. Sharing, once again, this is very familiar if you worked in the Google ecosystem. It's relatively simple to use as far as editing and creating these different types of videos immediately, and downloads are very simple. You could also edit them together, I believe, as well by sharing out a link. So sharing out a link for editing purposes, it's going to come up like a Google slide presentation would, and kids can go in there and edit. If you are sharing a video that you downloaded, that's just a link that would go into your Google Drive. So those are some of the benefits. Why don't we get into some of the things that Google Vids can't do? And the first one is a 10-minute time limit, and this is a big one. Now, Nick and I will tell you that we don't think videos should be over 5 minutes, 6 minutes, maybe 7. And if they are, they should be broken up anyway because a student's attention span is not that long. Now, a 10-minute video, there are some times when you're doing that, like an end of the year video scrapbook or something like that, where you need more than 10 minutes. So that could be a red flag for you. The slideshow nature is the primary criticism. Essentially an AI-assisted presentation or slideshow creator. It's not full-fledged. It's cinematic video generation tool. I will tell you this, that I believe in Google, the use of AI for this feature is over 18 or over. I don't think it's 13. This is something we have to double check. I thought it was 13 originally, but I read something that said it was over 18. So it's not like you're going to give this to middle schoolers. So there could be an age restriction there. Even if it's over 18, some of your seniors aren't 18 yet. So you got to look at that. There is a limited professional polish here. It's not as polished as some of the other tools that we use, such as WeVideo and Canva Video. The AI is still in the progress. It's still lacking some things. There's a lack of control and customization. You get more customization with other tools, and theme customization is difficult. So there's some limitations there as well. Limited stock media selection. Notice that we did say that it is connected to YouTube Music Library, which is phenomenal, but there are some there's some limiting factors there that could come into the picture.
The thing you said that I liked the best was how it essentially, when you're done with the video, it can often look like a slide deck with transitions that you recorded over. And that's totally true, just because it kind of looks like Google Slides, but with video editing meshed in with that. And it's hard to analyze vids because that's at one time what's good about it, because it's very familiar. It's easy to use and jump into it because it looks like Google Slides. But also, if you wanted to do some more intense video editing, something that looks like an authentically edited video, it might not look like it because of this slides-like nature. So it just depends what you want to do with it. I think teachers might actually like the simplicity because a lot of the times we just need to do things quick and fast, and it doesn't have to look perfect.
Yeah, the simplicity is key here, but going with that, because students have used presentations before, this should be relatively, instinctual on how to use it. There's not a lot of EdTech teaching there, and some of our lower-end EdTech users might, find comfort in that. So that's another thing that we need to take into consideration there. But regardless of what it can and what it can't do, it is a viable option, and over the last year, there's been tons of upgrades to it. When it first came out, I was not impressed at all. And now it's starting to show signs of being a quality tool and being something that is familiar to kids, which is big. But that's going to end up our segment 1 here. Let's take a brief pause to hear from our friends over at the Teach Better Podcast Network.
This podcast is a proud member of the Teach Better Podcast Network. Better today, better tomorrow, and the podcast to get you there. You can find out more at teachbetter.com/podcasts. Now let's get back to the episode.
Okay, so for segment 2, we are going to now expand beyond just Google Vids and try to go back to that original question that I was faced with from a teacher at our school is, how do I make screencasts? But then even go beyond that and just sort of address this issue of what video editing tool are we using now in 2026? For what purpose? What's free? What do I pay for? I need to do this type of video? What if I need to do that? And we're going to share stuff out. We'll see if we agree or disagree on most of these things. I have a feeling like normal, it'll be a mix of both. And we put together 5 or 6 like general questions, and we'll just kind of start with the first one, I guess, which is, if you are a teacher and you needed a tool for fast and easy classroom video creation, and this one is about the students. I'm not talking about you, the teacher, recording something. I'm talking about, hey kids, today you're making a video project where you have to explain Darwin's theory of evolution as it relates to an animal of your choosing. Where are you going to send your students? And I know my answer. I don't know. Maybe we'll start with you on this one.
Well, first, I think we need to lay down some parameters here.
All right.
Let's just keep it with Google Vids, Canva Video,
Sure.
and WeVideo. All right, that's first. And second, let's say, because me personally, I would just give them the option to use whichever tool that they're most comfortable with.
Right.
But let's take that off the table. You have to pick one. All right, and you have to give a reason why. I don't need to go first on that. I just wanted to add that because sometimes
All right.
you know, we go out in left field and then we're not really debating exactly what we need to sit down and debate. So go ahead.
It's a good point.
Which tool would you use for fast and easy classroom video production?
That's a good point. We need some rules here. For this one, man, I'm actually going Vids. I'll be perfectly honest. And I agree with what you said too. Like, yeah, I always would tell students, use whatever you're comfortable with, but then I would say I would recommend everybody that you use Google Vids because we are a Google school. The kids know it. The ability to have 2 students in there working at one time is going to feel just like they're used to with Google Docs. It's not going to take any training. I don't have to answer 10,000 questions about it. The downloading is so easy. Like, our school pays for WeVideo, and you know, for some reason, downloading a video from WeVideo for them is always a problem. I'm constantly explaining how to do it and how to get it into their Google Drive. I think it's pretty obvious myself when I'm in WeVideo, considering when you export that video, there's a giant button that says Google Drive, but the students can't seem to find that. But with Vids, you just can't mess it up. There's a little, share option, and it's all right there. So Vids is my answer, with one exception, and that would be if I need the video specifically to be social media-ish, right? Like if I want it to look like TikTok or an Instagram video, I probably would send them to Canva, knowing that I'm going to have to work a lot harder as the teacher to train them on it, but that would be secondary for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with the second part. You're not going to have to train them that much because there's templates for the social media.
Good point.
And I feel like I would use, if the easy and fast assignment was me as an EdTech coach trying to solve a problem and get that answer out to somebody, or me as like a math teacher walking a kid through a math problem that they're struggling with, or they would like the answer to, or something like that, then I would use something like Google Vids. For everything else, I'm using Canva Vids. For me personally, being able to use a template and make it look good, and I still think Google Slides, and since this has that feel to it, looks like the 1996 internet, they need a major update on their templates. They need to bring it kind of the current time. That's my biggest thing against Google is I don't think that the slide deck templates or anything like that, I think they're horrible.
They stink.
I mean, you have all these people, hire some creative template designers and give those a little bit of a sprucening. So I am not going Google Vids for the easy project. I am going Canva Vids over that. I think that we can do a lot of what we want to do in Canva Vids, and WeVideo is now also, for me, a little clunky. I feel like the downloading, the exporting, I feel like the templates, I think all that stuff is clunky, and that the user face is clunky. So I'll throw it out there, and I'm just saying I'm a Canva big guy. But I will also throw this in there, even though I'm the one that set the rule, I would still be using ScreenPal.
I'm going to do that at least one other time too. And I would argue you more on that. I mean, I'm not as into Canva Video as you. I kind of find Canva Video difficult as well. I often get frustrated. However, I'm not going to make a huge deal about it because I have used it recently with students, and you kind of are correct. They can pretty much do it themselves. So I don't think it's as bad as I'm viewing Canva Video. So maybe you've got a point there.
Canva Video has had some major upgrades as well.
Has gotten
And I
better.
think the clunkiness of that, and with the timeline edition recently, the timeline edition, that just, put the nail in the coffin for me.
Right.
So I'm all in for that. Let's get into our next debate here. As a tool for complex video editing. And for this, let's go with the end of the year. We took pictures, we took videos, we have other stuff we want to add. What tool are you using for that longer project?
Yeah, I mean, for this one, this is a really hard question to answer. I'm going WeVideo because our school pays for it, so we have access to it. I like WeVideo. I still use it myself when I do things like what you described. If I was working in a school that did not pay for WeVideo, I guess I would have to use Vids because I don't know any other way that I could get a similar feel, and I'm struggling saying that because it's not a similar feel. But I'm just envisioning I've got like all these different photos that are overlapping and moving across the screen and, zooming in and zooming out and transitions and layering. How annoyed am I going to be trying to do that in Canva? To your point, it's not as bad as it used to be, but I think I'm still going to be a little bit annoyed. In WeVideo, I won't be annoyed. Well, I probably will be, but probably the least amount. So sort of two answers there. WeVideo because we have it. Vids if we didn't. But this is a tough one to answer based on the complexity request.
All right, I'm going to throw something at you right now. Let's see if it sticks.
Sure.
All right, say your yearbook club or whatever it may be, and throughout the year you have your sports teams. You hand out a template or like a requirement sheet to them. If you want to be a part of the video yearbook, this is what we're using, and you tell them we're using Canva. You can use whatever template you want. Do not put any transitions in. But what I need is a 15 to 30 second, whatever you want to put in there.
Right.
That club takes their own 15, 30 second video. They download it. So within that 15, 30 seconds, if they wanted to put images, if they want to put video, if they want to put transitions within, but not at the beginning or the end. Okay, just transitions within, any customizations. Say if it's a baseball, they want to put a little 30-second, put me in, coach, I'm ready to play song, and maybe a sound effect of a bat hitting a baseball, that cracking noise or something like that, or cheering.
Yeah.
They could do that all within their 15, 30-second video, and then what they have to do is download it, type in softball team. They have it in there. They put it into the year-long, yearbook video folder with their softball team labeling there. And then all the yearbook club needs to do is drag those in, and they put the transitions in between each video. I think that is a lot easier to do in Canva than it is in anything else.
So you're going Canva for this one?
I am going Canva in this one. It's not even close to me.
Okay. Okay.
It's just so easy, and what you can do, with the customization and with all the templates and stuff, everything would have a feel that it's personalized to that team or that club or that drama group or whatever it may be, the seniors, the juniors, the freshmen, who knows. So I'm going Canva Video again, because I just see an easy way of doing this.
Okay, that makes sense. I don't even totally disagree. And your Canva one is definitely going to look better than if I tried to do this, in Vids. So that's an angle here too. I'm very curious about this next one for you, and this goes back to what started this whole episode. That teacher comes to you for a quick and easy Screencastify replacer. Where are you sending them? I know my answer is I'm going to break the rules again, which is ScreenPal. That's because I pay for it. I can't send any old teacher to do that because the free version is gonna block them in all kinds of ways and get frustrating. So I think my answer is gonna be Vids from here on out when I get that question, just because for your average teacher who's not into video editing and just needs to get something out there, record it fast and easy, share it fast and easy. That's what they want. I think Vids is the tool for that.
What do you think I'm going to say?
I think you're going to say, weirdly, Canva.
You're wrong.
Okay.
All right. If we are paying for WeVideo, the one thing that a lot of our teachers forget is there's an extension for that.
You're not saying WeVideo here, are you?
I am going WeVideo
Oh
for
my
this.
gosh,
And
wow.
the reason is it's one less click.
That's true.
All right. For Google Vids, you have to go to the waffles, the 9 dots, and you have to find Google Vids. You click on that, and then it will pop up with all your different options. For WeVideo, all you have to do is click the WeVideo extension, and it's popping up to those options. So for me, it's one less click. I don't like to click. Any additional clicks frustrate me, so I'm going to go with WeVid extension.
Interesting. I did not see that coming, but that's a good point too, that WeVideo does have an extension for this. The next one is if you had to choose a tool for a professional or social media style video, this would be, I was thinking more teachers doing this, like us, who put stuff out on social media or putting things up on YouTube that we want to look, I don't know, what's the word, like a creator, like a content creator would do. Now I'm almost back on your side because I'm going to Canva. And if you don't say Canva, I'm probably going to just stomp out of here because it won't make any sense to me at all.
I'm also going Canva. There's for previous reasons already mentioned. But
Yeah.
if we go into our next one, which is will we use Google Vids over other tools like ScreenPal, WeVideo, Screencastify. So we're bringing all our parameters are off the table here.
Well, you can take ScreenPal out of it. If
No, I think this is a great time to bring all the parameters
All
off the table here because there are the point of this question is there are tons of different options out there. And I need to remind ourselves, you and I, and everybody else, that this is almost like it's a district that has all these options. We're blessed. There are some districts out there that do not have these options. There's that EdTech divide that we often talk about. So at the end of the day, you use whichever tool is available to you and is of quality. And for me, Google Vids is a quality tool. I just have other options. I'm blessed to have other options. And I need to remind everybody that I use my phone a lot. And Canva has their own app on the phone. I bet WeVideo does too. I just don't use it.
I wouldn't even bother though. If they do,
Yeah.
I bet it's not very good.
So
Sorry, WeVideo.
yeah, but for me, I'm going on to Canva and I'm using their app on my phone, or if I have my laptop or whatever, I will probably use Canva for most things. The only thing I won't use Canva for is that really quick response to somebody. Then I'll use whatever I feel like clicking on in that moment because they are all quality tools.
So my answer is pretty much the same. Is Google Vids going to be my end-all be-all? No. But if we did not have all these other paid tools like WeVideo, and if I didn't pay for ScreenPal myself, then yeah, it probably would be because I know I can use it with my free Google account. I'll add to here that the Canva video editing also free. So like even if you are in a school district that is not paying for EdTech tools for you, you have two really awesome options that cover a ton of bases that are free. The Google Workspace video editing with Google Vids and Canva for Education that you can sign up for free as an educator. You're home free and you can do pretty much anything you want to do. So my answer is like yours, kind of a non-answer. No, it's not going to replace them, but also yes.
I think right now is a good time to take a look at the state of EdTech in New Jersey, where we are, and elsewhere, because I'm thinking this is probably going to be something that is followed, like caught on by a lot of different states. Recently, I mean, in the last couple of days, recently, the state passed something saying no cell phones in schools.
That was a big one.
And it's a huge one. And I haven't read the specifics behind all this, but no cell phones in schools. All right, I love this for the mental health side of things. I love this because if it is somehow, I don't know, like if we can police it without it being disruptive to the day, and I think that's also great because we no longer have to fight the battle of getting off your cell phone when it's not appropriate to be on it. But I think it also limits, once again, some of the on-demand or the readiness of tech that some kids might have versus other kids who don't have one-to-one programs in their school. So we have one-to-one Chromebooks. And that's also something that we have to bring into this conversation too, because Chromebooks notoriously stink at downloading videos. If you don't babysit your Chromebook, while the video is downloading, it often will throw an error because it's going into hibernation or whatever it may be. If you shut your Chromebook, it will come up as a processing error for downloading a video. And this frustrates a lot of different people. So, Nick, with the state of EdTech in New Jersey and probably coming to a state near you, how does that play into our conversation about, Google Vids versus WeVideo versus Canva Video?
Yeah, I think it's an even better reason to stick with the two that I mentioned, assuming maybe next year that the kids in my class won't have a cell phone. I know our school's also trying to lock kids down to less tech, and when we are using tech, it has to be their school-issued Chromebook in this hyper-controlled environment that, by the way, I agree with all that stuff because there's just too many things out there today that are allowing kids to not be engaged in their education. So I think we have to make all these moves. I think we need a small set of free tools that are really good. So I'm sticking with Google Vids because of that Chromebook platform that it's going to work so seamlessly in. For me, there's just no way around it. So maybe begrudgingly, I am agreeing to Google Vids. Also knowing I'll still have Canva. The lack of cell phones will be a pain because Canva actually is nice for that. But that's what I'm going to have to go with there.
All right, and that's going to bring us to the end of this episode. Hopefully you got some value out of all three of these EdTech tools that we kind of focused on today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to the EdTech Throwdown. Do us a couple of favors. Subscribe to our podcast on any major podcast catcher such as Apple, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, and Stitcher. Go over to YouTube, search the EdTech Throwdown, subscribe to the channel. You can connect with us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. The show's handle is EdTech Throwdown. You can connect with Geis at GeisGotTech, Nick at NickGotTech. You can write us an Apple Podcast review. You can tell your friends about www.edtechthrowdown.com. And lastly, go over and check out our friends over at the Teach Better Podcast Network, a network that we are so proudly involved with. Until next time, remember, go try some EdTech because we will do the research so you can teach your class.